What is up, soccer friends? Welcome to Kickback Committee. We're glad you're here. I'm Susannah Fuller alongside my good pal, David Goss. We're coming off a wild weekend of soccer, and we have a jam-packed show today because we have a lot to talk about. We're going to chat with our good friend Matt Doyle on all things MLS Cup Playoffs, which kick off this week. We're going to dive into some soccer scandals. That'll be fun. We're going to hit on a few of the stories that we've been following this week from around the globe, sharing some of our World Cup moments that we will remember for all eternity. 50 States of Soccer Tour will take it to the great state of Pennsylvania. And of course, last but not least, the Great British Bake Off recap that you all have been waiting for with bated breath. But first, Goss, we've got breaking news. Breaking news to share, which it won't be breaking by the time this episode is released, but while we're recording it, it'll be pretty darn close. So, La Liga has apparently canceled the December matchup between Barcelona and Villarreal that was set to take place in your city of Miami. How does that feel when I say your city, Miami?
Terrible. Every single time.
I saw you kind of wince.
Feels terrible every single time. Yeah.
But what do you make of this sort of sudden turnaround here? Because when it was announced, I remember being like, oh, all right, well, here we go.
Yeah.
This is happening now.
And now it's not.
It's
the least shocking thing I think I've heard.
Okay.
It even when it was announced, I think I said to someone I'd be more surprised if this game happened than it didn't. Not for any specific reason. It's just people work on this stuff for years. Like the World Cup is being organized at these cities, and it's different, a World Cup, but for years, for 5 games, 6 games. And so to say, oh, we're going to do this. And you could convince me that any NFL stadium in the U.S. could put together a really strong event and turn it around. There's a lot of people who work on this stuff full time, and there are, standard operating procedures that they're going to use. I think if you look at the scale of a big soccer game, it's similar to an NFL regular season game or postseason game where these organizations do turn them around fairly quickly. But it felt odd that it was going to happen. And I know Relevant's been in this lawsuit for years. So there probably was a plan somewhere at some point of if this ever comes through, this is what we're doing. But you even watch the Dolphins games and the field is garbage. Mm-hmm. So they were just going to flip on Barcelona Villarreal in a couple months. And so then when you see this, you're and you see the wording, right? The wording from Relevant, who are the, for anyone who doesn't know, they're sports agency in the U.S. I would describe it. Yeah, so they do media, they do live events. They're owned by Stephen Ross, who owns the Dolphins. They own, I think they run F1 here, the Formula One race, and a million other sports events globally. They say it's a postponement where La Liga says that it's a cancellation. And I think the idea was Relevant wanted one on the books. And it's easier to move something on the books, even if it's not the exact same game, than it is to get the thing started for the first time ever.
So they said it was postponed.
Yes.
La Liga said it was canceled.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the difference.
And the game obviously isn't canceled. They're just going to play now in Villarreal.
In Miami. What were you able to gauge the sort of excitement level in Miami?
I've not heard anyone talk about it.
Okay, I was gonna say was there an
It's
awareness?
Like a thing. It's like this. It was this ambiguous thing that was happening. The only stuff I had really seen, of course, the players protested this weekend at the La Liga games. So players didn't play for the first 15 seconds of every game. The television companies cut in and out of that a little bit. They showed external shots to try and not really put it on display. And then I saw the reports that they had organized for 2,000 Villarreal fans to travel to the game because they're going to lose a home game. People who pay season tickets and are there every time, they're losing the chance to see their team one time, which is what we've seen with the NFL going overseas as well. So I had seen that report that 2,000 fans were going to be. I don't know if they were fully funded trips. That part I didn't fully understand. So that's what I had heard. I have not spoken to anyone. And I will say when I talk to people, I don't know a lot of people who are MLS fans, but they know Inter Miami games. They know what's going on. I played soccer and went out to dinner with some people when the Leagues Cup was happening and they knew the games were on, these makeup games that Inter Miami had, because those are weekday games, they've known those are on. And people were talking about the Argentina games because they played Venezuela and then they ended up moving that Puerto Rico game to Miami. And everyone talked about that. And this had not been mentioned. It was this
interesting
other thing that
and this
might
is Barcelona.
Occur.
This is not.
Yeah. It would sell out if it actually happened. It just would be a late arriving crowd, which is what we saw in the Club World Cup anyway in Miami, which is the case of a lot of markets.
Do you think that this will this deter other leagues from attempting to do the same thing while they're trying to attract a more American audience? Is this now did they look at a situation like this and say, ooh,
because there are
not.
reports that there's going to be a game played in Perth, Australia as well. That was the second part. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Perth is not close to anything.
No.
It's not even close to Sydney.
I was going to say, it's not even close to Australia. Was the joke I was going to make. Yeah, it is the most remote large city in the world. And I think that was a Serie A team trying to do it going into the Christmas break, I think, because the idea is then you get the natural rest after it to travel the 17 hours back, whatever it is. I have no idea. What I would say, if you were asking David Goss, what would you do? Which is a crazy thing that anyone would ever do. I would say you're killing the golden goose. People like these things. They don't just like one aspect of it. And the thing people like is the culture and the atmosphere and the event and the experience around it, even remotely. And I think watching Villarreal play in their home stadium in front of their fans is more romantic and intriguing to me as a global viewer than watching them play in front of a neutral crowd close to me, even though I get to see the soccer in person. And while the NFL has moved games to Europe, there is no football league there. There is no American Football League at a legitimate professional level
much like
that
an
exists.
Exhibition
That exists
London.
anywhere else. So if you ever want to see a football game, that's how you have to see it. Their competition of what they're going through is not apples to apples with what these now specifically European soccer teams are trying to do. So if you, let's say, take this and you say, okay, we're going to Miami, let's say the game was 2 weeks earlier. Inter Miami could be hosting MLS Cup on the same day. I'm not saying Inter Miami is equal to that, but if I want to go see an in-person product, I can. And if I want to watch Barcelona, I can. Those can be two separate experiences. And I don't think the sell for both of them to happen in the same place is going to outweigh the loss of what you see. But in saying that, I don't think anyone cares. Anyone who has decision-making power, I don't think they care about what I just said.
I care what you have to say.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I respect your opinion tremendously. And I think everything you said made a whole lot of sense.
Do you want Liverpool in Chicago?
Not really. I mean, I don't know. It's not... I would maybe, if it was convenient, I would maybe make an effort to go if ticket prices were reasonable. But I'm not dying. I went to see Liverpool play in preseason at Yankee Stadium once before. That was kind of cool. But for me, if I'm wanting that authentic experience, I will book a trip to Liverpool and I will go to Anfield and I will take that all in because that's what I'm looking for. And I think that is exactly to your point. And
I think if people say not everyone can afford that, that's absolutely true. If Liverpool comes to Chicago or Barcelona comes to Miami, you're not going to be able to afford it anyway. The tickets are, look at the World Cup prices. The tickets are going to be in that stratosphere anyway. Right. So it doesn't actually really make it more accessible to people. I think it just creates this weird neutral site game and whatever. I think the NFL games in Europe are bad. I think they've been bad games. I think you see it fairly consistently. The travel, the time zones, whatever it is a, for the most part, worse product. And the NFL doesn't really care. It doesn't really affect them enough because they're a bit of a monopoly and they are who they are. But if La Liga does that, now your product's worse than Serie A, and it's worse than the Bundesliga, and it's worse than the Premier League. And so I don't know where all of this ends. I think there's legal questions around it as well, right? UEFA said when they allowed this, we don't really have a law against this, so we're allowing it now, but it feels like that meant we're going to meet and try and figure out if we should outlaw this for the future.
Yep. And honestly, it could be very much a blessing in disguise for all parties involved.
If it happens this way, and it never happens, there's got to be one person who has a physical ticket to this thing. It's going to be such a collector's edition. My friend's dad has a physical ticket to Woodstock. Like, he bought a ticket before, when it like remote, like you had to like mail in to buy it, and then everyone just showed up.
Wait, the original Woodstock?
Yeah, like he.
What?
And he, being a good person, was like, I saw a posting for this. I mailed in my money, and I got the ticket mailed to me. Yeah, it's amazing.
Wow.
So that's what this would be like.
Okay. Yeah, if you're out there, let us know. We'd love to see it and screenshot it for posterity. Amazing. Hey, guess what, Gus? Guess what's happening this week? I'm sure you're not aware.
I'm completely unaware.
MLS Cup Playoffs.
Oh
my God. Did you survive decision day? Did you have fun? You were working very hard, I know.
I did have fun. I watch soccer and I try and like figure out what's going on. Mm-hmm. And then there are times where I'm like, it's not possible. I'll turn my brain off and just enjoy the vibes. And that's what decision day is.
Is that what you did? Like, were you able to just kind of...
Well,
how are you consuming it? Because I remember I used to find decision day very stressful when I was working.
But now that every weekend is stressful in MLS, because all the games are always at the same time, decision day, I'm not even going to try. So normally what I did this weekend is I put a game on TV, and then I had the 360 show on my laptop.
Okay.
And then depending on, I think during the Eastern Conference, I had a second screen up. And then the West, I put Vancouver on and was like, oh, I'll switch over when this is no longer like the most entertaining game and there's not the one I need to watch. And I ended up not. I love Vancouver. I'm like all in, and based off wearing the sweater last week and everything.
I was going to say, did you wear the turtleneck?
I didn't wear it during it. So I really enjoyed it. And then my sister was visiting and was going clubbing with her coworkers. So then we went out to the nightclub after.
That was like, do you know what is so funny? I had some friends in this weekend, and and these are friends that I had lived in New York City with, in Brooklyn. And we were all discussing how the last time we set foot in a nightclub was probably 2017, all of us together. And we were like, that was our last clubbing experience. And we were kind of joking, what would it take for us now to get up off the couch and go to a nightclub? So when you just said that, I was like, oh wow, she's still doing the thing.
Yeah,
good for her.
We left by 3-something a.m.
Gosh.
And it wasn't really crowded yet.
Oh my God. Miami is it's just a different animal.
The headliner DJ went on around 6 a.m. Here's one thing though that I like, and it's not really my scene, but it was fine. I like the issue for this one. I like songs with words that I know. And this was more vibes and beats, house music, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
What I do find funny though is, so apparently they open at 11 p.m. on Saturday, and then they close at 2 p.m. on Sunday, and they run all the way through. They do brunch, which I think is funny. I think that's a funny thing to do.
So you transition straight from club, and then hey, let's get an omelet. Maybe we do a little mimosa Bloody Mary, take the edge off type of thing. It's kind of brilliant, actually.
I don't think the music part ends.
Oh,
I just I think so. I'm not sure. I haven't been for that part, but a lot of these people are showing up around 4 or 5 a.m. So they're kind of still in their peak time. Yeah, it's a whole world.
I'm really impressed with you.
Thank you.
Truly, I don't know if I could physically do it. On the other hand, I went to the Dolly Parton Stampede this weekend.
Stampede.
Yes, which is so if you can imagine, have you ever been to a medieval times?
Yes.
So similar concept, where it's a live show and you're competing, you're on one side going against another side. It's that big arena, that type of seating, but it's the North versus the South. And I was a little shocked that, considering today's political climate, we are
or just the last 150 years of history.
Yes, engaging in this.
But wait, So are they like jousting?
No, they're on it's like barrel racing, but like there's teams that are competing for the North and teams that are competing for the South, and then they go head to head. And so there was barrel racing, there was a hog race, there was a chicken race, there was one where they had to like pop balloons while on horseback. I mean, the whole thing was a spectacle and pretty impressive, to be honest. But I was just very
never heard of this.
I was shocked. I was actually shocked. And then at the end, no shockaroo. It was like everything was tied up.
And
so, yeah, it's like,
I can't believe it. Yeah.
Oh, look, we're all Americans here. But
Is
it was
the
wild.
Phrase Union or Confederacy used? It's always North and South.
Just North and South.
Yeah.
And I found this interesting. The North side, we were given like flags to wave to cheer on our side. The North was given the red flags, and the South was given the blue flags. And Ian, God bless him, we walk up, he gets our flags, and they're like, "Which side are you on?" And we're like, "The North." And they gave us the red flag, and he was like, "Isn't this the wrong color?" And I was like, "Shut up." I'm like, "Just shut up. Just go along with it, man. Just go along with it." Yeah. I mean, it was a whole thing. So that was
I didn't know that this was any of what was coming from this.
Yeah. Oh, Goss, you and me both. I had no clue. I knew it was like a dinner show type of thing.
I thought you were going to say it was something like, those like Italian wedding shows where it's like there's a wedding happening, you're a part of it. I thought Dolly Parton would be involved at some
There
point.
was some Dolly music involved, which was great, but it was just a straight up stampede. Like the opening number had bison. Like there was 7 bison that came out in this pen, and I mean they had the longhorns. It was wild. It was quite an experience. I had fun, but it was all in all a surprise. And then I went home and watched the Western Conference games for Decision Day. I did not go clubbing. I think I was probably in bed by 12:30, and that felt like I was pushing the limit.
That.
So that's the difference between you and me. But I respect you, Goss, and you're kind of my hero right now. Speaking of heroes, who better to chat some MLS Cup playoffs than our good friend Matt Doyle? So let's hear from him now. All right, time now to bring in a guy who needs absolutely no introduction. We know him. We love him. Oh, so much. The one and only Matt Doyle. What's up, Doyle?
I thought you were talking about Taquito.
Oh.
I thought, because we know and love Taquito so much.
We do know and love Taquito. It's always a good day when Taquito makes a cameo on the pod. How's he living?
He has a little skin issue with his hind parts. A little concerned. Don't love that. So we have to bring him to the doctor, to the vet, in a couple of days. He loses his mind when we take him to the vet. We literally have to. No, not like this. We literally have to sedate him. It started maybe 6 years ago. The vet was like, "Here's gabapentin. You have to drug this cat before you can even bring him in." And these are people who spend their entire lives dealing with sick animals.
With animals that don't want to be there.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
When you say drug the cat, is it little mini kitty tranquilizers? What are we talking about here?
So,
because I'm interested for mine.
Gabapentin is it's an antipsychotic.
Feels like Doyle works for this company because he really knows the name well.
Yeah, I just bought some Eli Lilly stock. No, it's an antipsychotic that has a sedative effect, and it's not a real hard hitting one. It has no long term side effects or anything. It just kind of makes him chill for about 2 hours, and they in the past we've had liquid. Right now we have pills. I think the liquid's easier because if you try to put a pill in this guy's mouth, you're drawing back a bloody stump, man. He's a sweet guy. He means well. It's just how you're supposed to have fight or flight. He just has fight. He has no flight instinct at all, and he's an orange boy. And anybody who. Yeah, you're getting into it.
You're already coming in at a disadvantage.
Yeah, if you're gonna adopt an orange boy, you're gonna have that's gonna be a big part of your life. So.
Oh, Taquito, we're with you, Taquito, all the way.
Yep. And right now he's cuddling so sweet. It seems like he's the sweetest guy. He's not.
No, he's not. I mean, that's cats. Goss is like, what the hell are you guys talking about right now?
To be clear, I would like credit. Before we went live, I brought up a cat
You did.
topic, and I instigated cat conversation and cat connection.
So it's your fault, Goss.
Yeah.
You brought this on yourself.
I'm fine with it. I'm okay with it. As long as
So-
I don't have to own them, I'm okay with it.
We should actually, because we're obviously going to chat some MLS with Doyle while he's here, but I feel like we should have like a cat bracket where we have our cats like choose who's going to win MLS Cup.
Like the octopus?
Yes, exactly. Like the octopus in the World Cup. And then wasn't there, there was another animal.
Wasn't there an elephant at some point? Did they use an?
That sounds right.
There's like a dog that shoots baskets up the stairs, and they put like the two teams on the stairs or something. That's definitely a thing that has happened.
Yeah,
the other thing
I've
we
seen
could
that.
do, and this would be more your expertise, so you guys would have to do it, is we could, because Doyle loves like a tier or a comparison. You could say like, what's the cat for each? Because I assume all cats have different personalities. Everyone knows that, or looks, whatever. What's each team? Which could be interesting. A corgi.
Philadelphia Union are a ginger.
A ginger
cat.
like tabby,
Yeah.
like just,
Yeah.
for sure.
All action.
100%.
All action 100%.
100%. I'm trying to think who personifies my Siberian Dolly. I mean, she's kind of like high maintenance, knows she's pretty.
You're
Sounds
talking about
like
Inter
my
Miami.
local club.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted better for her.
Could be
no
San Diego.
disrespect, but
or
what's that?
LAFC. Could be San Diego or LAFC.
I was kind of leaning LAFC. She's a little glossy. I don't know.
We need a quirky one that's effective for Vancouver. Thomas Mueller has like so injected his personality into a club that was like ready for it. Right? Like Vancouver was very much like, no one knows who we are. No one cares. We do what we do. And then Thomas Mueller came by and he's like, this is how I celebrate goals.
Yeah.
And like, you're like, okay, so this guy's on this team now. It's pretty perfect.
It is.
I feel like that's a calico, but I don't know. I'm going to have to spend the rest of the day researching cat
I'm
personalities.
literally now like,
Yeah.
ooh, okay. There's Persian.
Mm-hmm.
We've got what are the big coon Maine coons?
Maine Coons, which are just
Coons?
cuddle bugs.
Cuddle bugs. Yeah, okay. You know what, Goss? You're brilliant and a genius. You say you're not a cat guy.
And the
But I
key to
Clearly.
my brilliance is
know the
always
truth.
saying it too late so no one can prepare or have done anything.
Like, I got a great idea, which
Yeah.
would have been great.
Let me bring this up
yesterday.
2.5 minutes into the recording rather than in the production meeting.
Yeah, thanks for nothing, Goss. I'm kidding. I'm working on this, and I will be consulting Doyle, so we'll get back to you. We'll circle back on this one. At any rate, we've got some MLS Cup playoffs kicking off this week. The play-in games, wildcard games coming up on Wednesday. Doyle, I imagine that you are like, what is your fatigue level right now in sort of talking and previewing these MLS Cup playoffs?
I actually get a buzz.
Oh, good.
Yeah, the fatigue level is actually very
You're
low.
not fully dead inside.
No, that comes mid-season, right? End of the season is actually good. I still love decision day. Like that gets me juiced, and then the bracket comes out, and the awards are announced, and like all this stuff that the season has been building toward for 9 months. So like, yeah, I get juiced. The fatigue level is very, very low. Talk to me in a couple of weeks when we have like a 2.5 week break in between MLS playoff games, and we're trying to rediscover any momentum after that again. Like that one gets a little bit odd, but at this point, no, I'm ready to dive in.
Okay, so the overall excitement level is high for you.
Yes.
Great.
What are you most excited about? First round, let's say specific. Like what gets
Miami,
you hyped?
Nashville again, because I think that those are two teams that can win MLS Cup, and the fact that Nashville hasn't beaten Miami in like 3 years?
3 years, 2023 was the last
Yeah.
time. And this
So-
was pre-Messi, I believe.
Right. So like the fact that but Nashville is still really good, and the way they played in that first half was incredible.
Yeah.
And then Miami flipped a switch and played maybe the best half of soccer I've seen from an MLS team all year long. It was incredible. Like, what an incredible game. So I'm amped for that. What else? Like, I've been very vocal in doubting Philadelphia, and I want to see if I'm right. And everybody knows how I feel about Columbus and the way they play soccer. And I thought they played two of their best games of the year down the stretch just now. And so I'm looking forward to seeing if they can bring that into hell is real, like maybe the best rivalry in the league. So like, there's a lot of stuff to be juiced about. I really feel that way.
I agree, but I find it interesting that entire conversation stayed in the Eastern Conference.
It's all Ohio.
There are two conferences in this league. The West was not as strong this year throughout the regular season, but I think you could say ended on a bit of a high. Vancouver playing fairly well going into it. San Diego as well. Is Thomas Mueller going to lift MLS Cup in year one?
I wouldn't. I don't think so. I picked Messi. I picked Miami at the start of the year, but like I wouldn't be shocked if Vancouver won this thing. It would be a lot easier to pick them if they had actual center backs.
Yeah, they called me this week.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
and they said, "Do you know any center backs?"
Suze, have you ever seen Dave play soccer?
I don't know if I have. Wait,
I'm a battering
No, I
ram.
take it back. I did. I saw him play in like a media game once.
Yeah,
it was probably
like, back in like 2017.
He probably had to dial it down to about 40% in that one. I will say, shockingly athletic over short stretches. Like
literally going to be on the book jacket of a book I'm never going to write. Matt Doyle, soccer analyst, quote, shockingly athletic.
Incredible quickness. You would not think it. From a guy who's built like one of the turtles from Super Mario Brothers, you would not think that. But then you see the calves, right? The calves are insane. So I don't
know.
That's where the power is.
I don't know if I'm privy to Gus's calves. I don't know if I've.
We'll get there. I don't like shorts.
He has to keep them sheathed.
Yeah, I don't like shorts. I feel like I look like a child.
Jack Grealish?
Yeah. Oh,
girth?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, little softball sitting right in the middle of the leg.
Dang.
I'm testing out new cleats later today, which I'm very excited about. I was the person for the first time ever who responded first to the pickup WhatsApp and said, I will be there, number one. Because I have been waiting for 4 days for this person to send the message in a WhatsApp so I could play in my new cleats for the first time.
You know what? That's kind of precious.
I feel like a child. I'm so
I was going to say, that is very childlike and full of wonder. And that's really lovely.
And I'll get blisters, and they will hurt, and I'll have to return them in about 12 hours. So it all comes back around at some point. What we had in here, Suze, which we had talked about a little bit in our rundown, but big picture. Thoughts on the playoff formats? They have changed over and over. We did get consistency year to year here. So we get the wild card games, 8 versus 9, single elimination, 1 game to play in. That goes to 2 brackets, 2 sides, 8 teams in each, in which you have a best of 3 series that then leads to single elimination, all at a home site. So no neutral MLS Cups anymore. Of all the formats we have experienced, how do we feel about this one? Okay, cool.
The silence speaks volumes. Here's my thing. I'll weigh in. I'll give my humble opinion on this. As somebody who worked for the league for, 7 years, 7+ seasons, the fact that I'm never really sure what the playoff format is going to be, I think is a problem, because I want to know what to expect. Now, I think it has been consistent the last 2 or 3 seasons, but what throws me is I don't mind the wild card games. That's fine. It is the 3-game round of 32 where I'm like, I forget, I lose track because there is so much time in between the matches where I then have to constantly remind myself where we are at in this playoffs. Like what it feels like they have just kind of stretched this thing out. And then the next round is back to single elimination. Yeah. And so I'm just thinking, why not make it a 2-leg home and away series throughout the whole thing and make it far less complicated than it is. Everybody can wrap their head around it. And then it just feels like that would be a very consistent formula. And I feel like they lose steam early on. And that stinks because there are some really, really great storylines and really dramatic moments and great games. And I feel like the interest just kind of wanes because people get lost in that first sort of 3-game series. I don't know. Those are just my thoughts.
Yeah.
But I'd love to hear you two weigh in.
I think that makes a ton of sense. I think I get the like having a home game for everyone. I get the feel of like a playoff game is special. It's fun. And 2 legs maybe doesn't feel like a big enough advantage for a home team. I think if that's the case, you need less teams in the playoffs. So there needs to be less of these. You are in a situation where on October 24th, this round of playoffs will begin, and the next round will begin on November 21st. So that's like one round of the playoffs happening. Now the international breaks in there, but that's basically 1 month for one round of playoffs. And then MLS Cup is 2 weeks later when you come out of that one. And I think that part is a little bit bizarre. And I think hurts, like you said, interest, momentum, all those types of things. It may lead to the best team winning, though, more often. Because, Doyle, that's one of the issues with single elimination is like it's soccer. It's a flip of a coin, even for all the things we think we know about home field.
You mean
and
the
all of
3-game? You mean the 3-game series leading to? Yeah, I think there have been fewer upsets in the 3-game series than there were in single elimination. I still love single elimination the most. Like every game being a final, you can't beat that for drama. The 2022 playoffs in particular, I think were the best playoffs in league history. That was when it was still single elimination. I think that was the last year of it being single elimination before they switched. Before that, we did have the home and homes up until MLS Cup. The first leg tended to be a stinker. It tended to be pretty bad. You had the same issue with the big gap between the start of the first round and the start of the second round because of the November international date. I always thought you could stretch the regular season to the weekend before the November international date. And then on the other side, come out and over the course of 3 weeks, play single elimination, MLS Cup playoffs the whole way through, almost give it like a March Madness feel, where it's like every game's a final and you're one and done, win or go home. And it like you end up having all of that momentum. The issue, as you said, is like you don't get the home game.
Yeah.
But that to me just makes like that raises the stakes in the regular season, makes the regular season games more meaningful. So I hope that MLS gets back to single elimination the whole way through eventually. Who knows? It's changed. I haven't heard anything, but like it's changed often enough over the years. And I don't think. Look, I think that the issues that you talked about, Suze, with the 3 games, I don't think that the folks at the league office are blind to that. Yeah. I think they probably feel it too.
Yeah.
NWSL is, 8 teams, single elimination, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Like
as
3
is
weeks
USL
in.
League One. Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
USL League One, the big time we're going to get ready for.
I know. Buckle up. Hold your butts, guys. Yeah, I mean, to your point, Doyle, I think the league has shown that they are willing to adjust and change because they have done it before. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. At any rate, I mean, I'm glad that you're excited. I'm going to try my very best to sort of harness your enthusiasm for this postseason and get a little bit more locked in than I should be. I need to really commit at this point.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a team? Are you, because you're a Chicago gal, so are you?
I do.
Are you hyped for the fight?
Is, no. I'm thrilled that they are even in this position to be in the playoffs and play in a wild card game. I think this might be a quick exit, an early exit for Chicago, but honestly, having not made the playoffs since 2017 or whatever it was, they are trending in the right direction. And
right.
I feel very, very good about that. I am very, very high. So I filled out a bracket because I was like, well, I'm assuming we're going to have to do this at some point. So
right. You are correct.
And I am heavily riding the LAFC train right now.
Okay.
Because I just feel like there is no team right now that is kind of clicking more. They know how to win MLS Cup. Like, this is a team with so much big game experience. The Sonny Bouanga tandem is just clicking right now, like a well-oiled machine. And knowing that it's Steve Cherundolo's final season with LAFC, like kind of a little send-off. I feel like there's going to be an emotional boost there. So I picked them to win.
So, of the guys who are retiring or leaving, right, we have Steve Cherundolo, coach of LAFC, Darlington Nagbe, legendary D-mid in Columbus, and of course Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba down in Miami. Who deserves the 5-star send-off
Darlington.
most? Favored of the soccer guy, the
Hands
soccer
down.
gods. Okay. Yeah.
Darlington. I think in
But you
terms of
just
what
don't-
he has contributed to the league, like if you
Yeah.
like look at his career as a whole. But I would say Darlington.
Yeah, zero question. You're talking about 4 entities where, Trundle has been here for 3 years, never played,
but
never
yeah.
Four.
never coached eitherwise in the U.S., and then 2 guys who just showed up, which, great. Credit. Jordi Alba
They
plays
showed
every
up.
game.
Yeah, they showed up. They play hard.
Yeah, it's
They-
awesome.
Like, they're everything that you want from a
Yeah,
team.
they go to Miami Heat games. That's a trash team, so they're doing community service. Being around that one. I'll be in the building on Sunday, by the way, if anyone wants to talk. Your garbage squad. So, no, I think they've both been fine. Like, I have no complaints about them, but, yeah, zero question the guy who spent his entire career in the league and helped create some of the best moments in history, including, I think, helping Columbus get through the Save the Crew.
That was going to be one of my questions, though, for both of you. Doyle, you said like Columbus have they've played some of their best football like more recently.
They
Like,
played soccer, Suze.
They played soccer.
The YNWA is in the back.
Yeah,
so.
she's walking alone these days.
I
My
had to
goodness.
host morning footy for 2 years, and there was a real
yeah.
emphasis on European
It's called
Football.
footy.
footy. My apologies.
Yeah.
Truly, soccer. They have played.
I think
soccer.
we should only use Portuguese here, and we should call it futebol.
I like that. Calcio.
Yeah, no, I can't say that.
I like it. I'm here for it. But do you think that there is going to be sort of, an emotional push from Columbus because of the Darlington Nagbe retirement factor?
I think for all 3 of those teams,
Yeah.
there's going to be. It's legit, right? Like, you talk to any pro athlete, or like if your husband coaches pro athletes, probably like there's an understanding that you use every lever you can to get the sort of emotional outlay that is necessary to win these types of games. And I think that's part of it. But I also think that with each of these guys, including the 2 in Miami, like there's a level of appreciation and admiration for who they are to the team and what they've done in the game. So I think that it's going to be a huge push. And was it on soccer wise? Was it last week, Dave, when Tom was talking about being in the locker room in 2023 after MLS Cup, and he said like 2 different players on the crew walked up to him a little drunk and were like, "This guy over here," pointing to Nagbe, "is the best player in the history of Major League Soccer." And you could tweet that. You could put it like that's the way these guys who've played with Darlington Nagbe feel about, and I don't think it was just 2, right? I think there's probably a lot of guys in that locker room who felt that way about the dude. And there's going to be a lot of guys in that locker room who feel that way about him heading into these playoffs.
And it goes to last year. Ricky Puig, right, tears his ACL in the semifinal or in the conference finals. And like Galaxy were home for MLS Cup. They were going to try and win that game no matter what. But it felt like something else in the building. Landon comes in wearing Ricky's jersey. Like being in the locker room after, a lot of the celebrations were like pointed at Ricky. It felt like, especially, I think Diego Fagundes did that exact same thing in that exact same way, just about Ricky at the time, not about Darlington Nagbe. So I think you'll definitely feel that from all of these teams.
Do you think your men's league teammates will do that for you next game after they see your blistered, bloody feet tonight? They're like, "Oh man, Dave really left it all out there with his new cleats."
I wouldn't say that everyone likes me. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't
guess
say that.
right
I wouldn't
now.
say that either. I would
Yeah.
definitely not say that about you.
So I would assume there'd be a little bit more controversy. But you know what? I love people to be uncomfortable. You got to keep people guessing, got to keep pushing. I'm always trying to find buttons to push. So whatever gets us over the line is all I care about. It's all about
Kind of a Sergio Ramos character. Is what we've always,
Yuck.
I can't think of enough background stuff with him to decide if it's okay to be connected to him or not.
He's
but we have
pursuing
similar,
his music career now. So
we have similar neck tattoos as well. So I think that's totally fine. All right. So we've talked about some of the big teams coming into this. We've talked Vancouver, San Diego, Doyle, the greatest expansion team of all time, no matter what happens in the playoffs, or does it matter?
No. The 1998 Chicago Fire won the double.
Expansion team at a time when the league was expansion is tough, but okay, fair.
I tend not to be a rings Ernie type of guy, but like 2009 Seattle won the U.S. Open Cup. You know, like if you get silverware out of a season, that's tough to beat. That said, like of the expansion team, like this is the best regular season an expansion team has ever had. I think they are built to last. I think Tyler Heaps is very clearly made himself one of the elite CSOs already in this league, and I love Mikey Vernis, his game model and the way he is fearless about developing players and putting young guys in positions to succeed. A little concerned that Chucky Lozano did not play on decision day and was a healthy scratch. Like there's some internal stuff going on there that is a worry. So I don't think that they'll win this thing, but I think it's a wildly successful season no matter what happens in the playoffs here. Like there's no question about it.
Is there a big upset alert on the radar for this first round?
Not in that one. Right? Portland and RSL, there's no way.
But what about across the whole first round?
I mean, I picked Columbus to beat Cincinnati.
Okay, there it
Oh,
is.
you
Hell is
did?
real.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that. That's when I picked RSL to beat San Diego in an upset special.
Let's go.
I did.
You're going to
Only
have to walk
because-
me through that one. Yeah.
Okay, it's completely emotional. It's a
Okay,
completely.
that's fine.
There's no actual like soccer knowledge that went into this pick, other than what I have experienced and felt in the past. And I think it was it 2019 when RSL, or was it 2021?
No,
2021.
Okay.
2021. RSL went on this like really, really unlikely playoff run where
It was when Damir Kreilach had
Yes.
that insane goal. It was like a Karate
Yes.
Kid goal. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I was basically kind of like writing vibes, and I remember we all had to do the bracket thing because we were all like MLS talent, and they forced us to do that which they love to do. And so I said, you know what, I'm basically going to go against logic for every pick in this bracket. So that was how I approached that particular bracket. And I ended up picking RSL, and my bracket was perfect until like the semifinals. Like it was wild. And so I just thought, you know what? Like RSL just feels like this team that has a perpetual chip on their shoulder. And sometimes that works. And in a one game playoff, like against Portland, that could be enough. I don't know. I mean, you can find a bit of magic in spite. And so I think I just thought it would be fun and interesting to pick RSL to upset.
I mean, they could absolutely beat Portland. I would be shocked if they were able to do anything, because like San Diego kills teams that get disorganized through midfield, and like RSL haven't looked organized through midfield even once this year. Like, yeah.
Never say never, Doyle.
I would never say never.
This is MLS. These are the MLS Cup playoffs, and it truly, like, chaos ensues almost every season at some point. So it could be that. It could be that one. We don't know. But that was kind of my one big upset, I think, that I picked in my bracket. I went pretty basic. Curious to get both of you. Like, who do you think is going to have just an absolutely sensational playoffs? Like one player in particular who is poised to be the MLS playoff MVP.
So is it cheating to say Messi? He scored like 12 goals last week.
It does feel kind of like a cheat code.
Yeah,
but like,
I agree. I said this over the last 2 years when we've done preseason stuff. I always make the phrase like the non-Messi award, the non-Messi this.
Yeah, I should have like prefaced it by saying that.
That's fine.
We know he's going to produce moments of ridiculousness. Like that's just inevitable. But if there was another guy who is like just kind of has a little sauciness happening right now.
I think if Cincinnati are to win, Evander is, one of the guys who single-handedly carries his team. But we just did an interview that's going to run in a little bit with Zoran Krneta about Charlotte. And I think Charlotte has a decent shot winning. Zaha is suspended. And Idan Toklamadi's been awesome this year. He is young center forward, has taken over for Patrick Aubameyang. His movement's really good. He stretches the game. And they won't have Zaha to lean on, at least for the opening game. And if Charlotte wins the series, it's going to be because of his goals. And if they win 2, it's going to be because of him as well. So he's sort of my dark horsey pick of guy we could be going into a conference final saying this is the guy who can deliver.
I like that. It's a good shout.
That's a good shout. I'm going to say Daniel Gazdag redeems himself for a miserable regular season. I think the fact that he turned up with that big goal against the Red Bulls as Columbus really sort of clicked into gear in that second half. I think he is going to have a big playoffs and going to make that look like what Columbus were hoping it would look like when they acquired him back in the spring.
I also am going to throw one name in, which is one that hurts me. I love this Vancouver team. I want them to win everything I think they can. I love Petar Musa. I'm obsessed with him. I think he's so good. And he had to sit. For anyone who doesn't know, he was suspended on yellow card accumulation for decision day when his team needed to win at Vancouver to get through. They won, and he had to sit and watch that whole game. And he feels like the type of guy who's watching, looking how the game's played, and now he's going to come in to a 3-game series and be like, this is how I can take advantage of this team. Yeah. This is how I can attack them. And it's a team that will be starting, as we started this whole segment with the joke, a center mid and an 18-year-old at center back.
Yeah. No. Bilal Halbouni is 26.
He's 26?
Yeah, it's Ryan Alumi, the center forward, who's 18.
No, I think they signed someone a few years ago who I thought I was talking about.
All right.
The shock on Gus's
but to your point, it's their
he's 18. He's 18 till he's 26.
Exactly.
27.
Yeah. It's like what 5th and 6th and the first 5th and 6th choice center backs for games 2 and if necessary 3 in this series. It'll be like the 6th and 7th choice center backs, one of whom is actually a central midfielder for the first game. I like Ralph Priso a lot, good soccer player. Him versus Petar Musa in the box is a mismatch. So they're actually I want Vancouver to come out of the West. I think they've played the best soccer in the league this year, and the vibes are incredible with Thomas Mueller now. This has upset potential. Dallas just putting numbers behind the ball and then crushing them on counterattacks and set pieces has real upset potential even over the course of 3 games.
Whew, I love it. Okay, before we let you go, Matt Doyle, I know you said that Miami Nashville is the match that you are really, really looking forward to. That series is going to be incredible. But if you had to kind of manifest another matchup between 2 teams, what would you love to see? Which 2 teams would you love to see face off in these playoffs?
Vancouver and LAFC in the 2-3 in the second round. That one it's a shame that it's one game because I would love to see those teams play each other 3 times.
Doyle's in favor of 2 series now.
Correct. Yeah.
He wants 6 games of playoffs to the conference finals, which will be 1/2 to decide the winner.
If Columbus get past Cincinnati and then they face Miami in that second, that's a fun one as well because Columbus will go down to Miami and play without any fear. they'll go down to Miami and try to have 65% of the ball. And I love that because that means Miami will come out and play as well. So I think the 2-3s, well, it would be the 8-3 in the East. Like those could be really, really good. Whereas with Cincinnati, like there's a lot of appeal there if it's because it's Evander, right? And like Evander versus Messi, like that's a lot of fun to me. There's a lot of boxes to check potentially in those 2-3 rounds.
Let me add one last one. It wouldn't be the next round. It would be the conference finals. But San Diego, Vancouver, similar of like, they're both going to play. Vancouver's gone on the road in CONCACAF champions and played, and it was 5-3 when they faced off in San Diego earlier this summer. That would be an epic Western Conference Finals.
Boom. Boom. Yes. Agreed. Co-signed, David Goss. This was fun. Hey, Doyle, enjoy those playoffs. I hope you keep riding this high. Enjoy every second. We can't wait to watch your coverage, and I'm sure we will be catching up with you very soon. Take good care of Taquito as well.
I will do that. All right, guys. Thank you for having me.
See ya. All right, David Goss. Time to get into something. I think we're going to have some fun with this because I feel like this is going to be something we can touch back on because there have been a few soccer scandals over the years that have sort of piqued everyone's interest in the soccer sphere, and we are kind of in the midst of one right now. And we're gonna dive into this a little bit because it involves an American women's player, Nicole Vernis, who was on loan at Lazio from Lexington SC, and gosh, she's kind of gone MIA. Am I correct in this?
Yes, you are correct. And all of the media coverage about it that's come out has been in Italian out of Lazio. So it has been, I think, very one-sided. But everything we know is that she was sent on loan from Lexington SC, who plays in the USL Super League. Mm-hmm. Coming out of college last year, played for Georgia and played for Florida in her career, big-time college soccer career. Played a lot for Lexington in the opening season, 12 appearances, 2 goals, sent on loan to Lazio in Serie A, which is one of the leagues that's just becoming fully professional finally. Lazio are a team that have a big men's squad that is very famous, which we will get into in a moment, because don't worry, that is part of everything that is always happening with this team and trying to build up their women's team. And so they brought Nicole in, and she played a couple times for them. And then she was unavailable. And the quote from Lazio was, she was absent and left without permission. She hasn't been with us for a week. She didn't respond to the call-up against Genoa and is unavailable. We'll see how to resolve it. This is a serious matter. And then there was other reporting, and all of this is in some of the biggest sports papers in Italy right now, like Gazzetta dello Sport and all of these. And it is, quote, this situation is a big problem and has caused us significant technical damage. She was a starter where we were counting on to play an important role. Now we can't replace her because the transfer market is closed. She plays in central midfield, and they had a lot of injuries, and we're expecting to lean on her in this stretch of games. So all of the news in Italy is like, what is she doing? Why did she disappear? What happened? Then, very recently, we get this quote from her agent, who says her loan was terminated by Lexington on October 10th due to an injury that Lazio failed to communicate to the club and due to non-payments. Vernis has not received any payments since her arrival on July 15th and currently has an injury that will keep her out of action for 6 to 8 weeks.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is clearly not one statement that makes all of it make sense. Because if you were injured, you could still be training with your team. Although if you're not getting paid, you probably, you could rehab with your team. You probably don't want to stay with said team. It is also a loan. So the possibility of going back exists, and like, it is not your home. You are not there forever. And so you don't have to stay. On Lexington's website, Nicole Vernis's player profile has that she is on loan with Lazio and has stated like how she played and the expectations. So they have not updated that yet.
Acknowledged anything. Also, I did a little digging on her Insta, which is private.
Now the reporting is here.
But she still has Lazio tagged in her bio.
Yes.
So she has not changed that. But also, apparently, one of the little nuggets surrounding the story is that apparently she posted on her Instagram story on October 14th, and it was like a selfie of her smiling. But no one really knows where she was.
In the world.
In the world. So she's like, she's out there.
Yeah.
She's out there. The theory, I think, is that she went home.
Yeah.
Like she basically had this injury, was like, this team, Lazio, wants me to play. I can't play. I'm going home. I'm on loan anyway. So the theory is that she's home, but there has been nothing to corroborate that theory.
And there was, up until this statement from her agent, only news coming out from the Italian side of things, from Lazio's side, which was making her look maybe not in the best light. Which reminds us of another young American woman who has been
tell, David Goss,
painted by the media in Italy. No, this is your expertise, not mine. But this was, when we brought it up, your first thought.
I thought the last time a young American confronted with some unsavory Italian press, immediately what comes to mind is Amanda Knox, who was the young American studying abroad in Perugia, was accused of murdering her roommate, Meredith Kircher. But the whole case was completely botched. She spent over 4 years in an Italian prison before she was eventually acquitted.
Because she was innocent.
Whoa. Yeah. And she's now doing she's like an inspirational speaker, an author. I think she's doing some stand-up comedy. Good for her. Yeah. But there was also, I just finished watching, there was a mini series on Hulu about the whole thing, a dramatization. I followed that case very closely when it was happening. As a young American who also studied abroad, it kind of hit home because I kept thinking, oh my God, how would I have
You were 2 steps away.
Exactly. The answer is not well. But yeah, it was very fascinating. But I also reminded the group that there is a soccer connection within the Amanda Knox story, because the Italian press, when they would refer to her, they would always say Foxy Knoxy. And that was because that was apparently her nickname. And everyone thought it was a reference to her being kind of I don't want to say maybe promiscuous. That was the whole narrative. That was
how she was painted.
Exactly. But do you know how she got the nickname Foxy Knoxy in reality? For her skills inside the box as a soccer player. She was a fox in the box.
She's a number 9.
Number 9, Foxy Knoxy. And it was a nickname that apparently she was given as a child playing soccer. And I think she played all through high school, but she was Foxy Knoxy. But then the Italian press turned that on its head to mean something that it absolutely didn't. So,
she's from Seattle. She might be a Sounders or a Reign fan.
She very well could be, because she has that soccer background. But this is all when this case was brought to my attention, I said, "Oh my,
yeah,
this sounds familiar. This feels a little familiar to me." Clearly, there's no murder involved, thank God. But
no.
But I looked at so she has her agent, his handle in her bio as well. So I looked at his profile. This is the kind of investigative work that we do here on Kickback Committee. And he is Tom Bogert follows this guy, Gus. So I feel like Tommy Scoops needs to get scooping a little bit
Tom
harder.
Wants nothing to do with this. Tom is not in the market, I think, right now for open requests for us.
Help us out,
to make him cover stuff. But we are going to continue to work on this as we can and continue to bring the story to all of you. We reached out to Lexington. We were still waiting to hear more information from them. So we might have a little bit more to bring you in all of this. But I will say, at least for me, initially hearing this, part of it is all colored in the fact that Lazio are a team that I am not shocked are connected to some form of scandal. So famously, they are the team of the Italian fascist movement. Yeah, so that was the one that Benito Mussolini was a part of. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Familiar.
And then since World War II, they have continued to have large sections of their fan base or player base or management who continues to exalt the ideas and the history and all of that. And I'm not talking the 50s or the 60s or the 70s. I'm talking the 90s, the 2000s, and recently, and portions of their fan base as well. And I think you unfortunately would come to, there are bad eggs in every fan base,
Of
but
course.
Lazio has all of them. I would like to throw out there, and I don't speak every language, I understand. Their name is SS Lazio. It's like Sporting Società, right? It's a sporting society.
Yeah.
SS is not like the most common start to most sports teams.
No.
Normally they're FC, SC, Inter, whatever.
Sounds a little sinister.
Not going to lie. If you bring me in as a consultant, I would probably start by saying, like, if you're not that married to that part, you might want to cut the SS part out,
Yeah.
being a European-based fascist historic club. And then last year they had this this year, starting in January, their Falconer, because they are the Eagles or the Falcons, and so they have a guy who full-time, like, flies the bird around the stadium, similar to LAFC does it as well, who was living full-time in their training grounds. He posted a message in which he had gotten a surgical enhancement to his inner core sexual organs, and it was considered a little bit risque for the ownership group, and it also led down a rabbit hole of his social media, which I think had some of these fascist-leaning comments in there as well. So they fired him. And after they fired him, he lived there. So he barricaded himself into the training ground for 1 whole month. He has now gone and sued, I believe, the club for slander and all these other things this summer. So, like, in this year,
Wow.
this club has had stuff going on. This is not new to Lazio. And when we came up with this idea for this segment, I think we were both like, there are so many crazy stories. A lot of them have resolutions because I think most of them we thought would be in the past. Mm-hmm. So we didn't exactly expect to have a breaking news one
That's ongoing.
to open this up with.
Holy mo! That is wild.
Yeah.
Wild stuff.
It's a vibe.
Whew. Man, okay, well, I think we're going to keep tabs on this story as well as other soccer scandals because this is going to be a fun recurring segment that I think we're going to dive into. So, guys, if you're listening and you have your favorite soccer scandals, let us know. Hit us up on Blue Sky. We'd love to dive in and tell the stories because that's what we do here on Kickback Committee. At your service.
At your service.
All right. So another thing that we are going to be continuously integrating into Kickback Committee as we lead up to the 2026 World Cup is get a bunch of World Cup stories in and chat on some of the current news that's happening, some of our favorite moments. But Goss, we got some interesting news yesterday surrounding the Women's World Cup in 2031. So the big news is that Costa Rica and Jamaica have joined Mexico and the United States to officially launch a joint bid to host the Women's World Cup in 2031. The announcement was made on Monday in New York City. It's part of a broader collaboration across CONCACAF to, quote, bring the most impactful World Cup in history that will inspire a new generation of fans and help grow the women's game across our entire region and across the globe. So, overall, Goss, this joint bid. So this is Jamaica, this is Costa Rica, Mexico, and the United States. So this is a pretty big area in terms of geography. How do you feel? Because we're going to see this. I can't remember when is the one where it's going to be spread across multiple continents.
Oh yeah, 2030.
2030
yeah.
in the
Will
men's.
be 6 countries and 3 continents.
Yes, so this is not unprecedented. But how do you feel about that in general? Because I know we're having multiple hosts in 2026, but it's all basically kind of contained within the same.
In theory, you could drive between them.
Yes.
That drive would be a monumental drive to try and undertake in any way. But in theory, you could.
Right.
And this takes that away. When this came down, I texted you and said, I feel split on this. I think there are pros and cons. The assumption was the U.S. would host this World Cup. So because of rotation that FIFA attempts to do, which is why 2030 is in this weird convoluted thing, because FIFA is faking the South American hosts by having them host the play-in games. But because of this, the announcement was that it would either be an African nation or a CONCACAF nation that would host. And everything we've heard is FIFA has said the U.S. was the only legitimate bid they got in. Now we finally hear the full details. Canada hosted the 2015 Women's World Cup as a sole host. So the assumption was always they would not be a part of this. So now you're taking the 26 model and it has to shift to some extent. And now it shifts with adding Costa Rica and Jamaica, which I think my first reaction and instinct is like, this is cool. That I don't think there's a setup with the way the World Cup is managed, how big it's become, how the things that are forced on host countries that aren't financially beneficial in the back end, that there will be a World Cup host at a senior level in the Caribbean or in Central America. And so this is a way to do that. And so I think that's like the biggest thing I feel from this is like, there will be girls in Jamaica and Costa Rica and Panama and Honduras and Trinidad and, Dominican Republic and all of that will see this in a way that they probably never would otherwise, and boys. And I think that's the coolest part. And then we could go through like a lot of the negative parts of it as well.
Agreed. I agree. I think for exactly the reasons that you said, it's very cool that that a Jamaica or a Costa Rica is going to be able to have this opportunity. And I do think that the visibility and just the young girls in these nations seeing women play soccer and their professional teams and getting to be in and around that environment is going to be very, very cool and empowering, and do all the things that they kind of said in this sort of mission statement that they put out. Growing the women's game across our region, growing of the women's game across the globe. Yes, check. Yeah. All that, great. Logistically, I have concerns. That's where my trepidation lies. It is going to be extraordinarily spread out. I worry about accessibility for fans, and I ultimately, the same way I felt when they announced the 2030 multiple sort of city joint bid, I feel like it waters down the pageantry of a World Cup a little bit. And maybe I'll be proven wrong. Maybe I'm a little bit too much of an old school mindset about this, but there is something really special when it's one place and you're able to kind of celebrate this host nation. And we're, in 2026 we're going to get a little bit of a taste of that, but I just think that I think there's going to be some issues with infrastructure and logistics that are inevitably going to come to light. And
which, I mean, look at the build up to 26. There's issues there,
True.
right? Like, I said to you, I'm not going to Hard Rock. Like, it's impossible to get to, and I live in Miami, and that's not going to change before the World Cup is there on the men's side. I fully agree with you. I think we all have this like romantic image of fans crossing and seeing each other and meeting each other and partying and watching games and all of that. And, I, at my age, grew up reading writers talk about France 98 and it being this perfect World Cup because every train was hubbed out of Paris and every fan was there, and Italy 90 as well, and Mexico in 86, and like all of the beauty and all of that. But I think, unfortunately, it's just impossible. Even if you you could host the World Cup in just the U.S. from like a logistics point of view. You could do it. It's still massively spread out, and it doesn't mean that a Netherlands fan in San Diego is going to cross paths with a Nigeria fan whose team is playing in Philadelphia, New York, and Boston. Like, that's just the nature of where we're at. And so in that context, Jamaica is an hour flight from here. So, like, if you're already having people go and come, it's harder. You got to get visas. You got to go through countries. It's expensive. The environmental impact is obviously a train wreck, which is not even on the radar for these people. And that comes back with all of this. 2030 will be even worse. Can we send all these teams to South America and then immediately fly them back to Europe and North Africa? So all of that will be a mess as well. But I think this is probably the standard going forward, which is we're into the span, and you see this with every Olympics. There's 10 countries, 15 countries that can host these things. Can they find ways to pair with some of the other countries that can do some or could have done the old version of it, but maybe can't do the modern version? Like if you're Costa Rica, they've hosted 2 youth women's World Cups, which is awesome. If they want to host a senior World Cup game, they have to co-host. It has to be across Panama, probably into Colombia, maybe even as far as Peru, maybe up to Mexico. Like, this was always kind of a scenario for them if they were going to be involved in a way like this.
Sure.
But it will be really cool. It's a great soccer nation, right? It has a great history, great culture, passion, like punches above its weight on the men's side, starting to get there on the women's side. So if anything like that was going to happen, this is the way it would happen. And I think it's good that they created a plan and that they can sort of work on it for a little while. What's going to be wild, crazy, and I've said this a lot of times, I know, 2027 Women's World Cup is going to be primetime games, especially for the U.S., because they're going to put them in primetime. It's in our time zone. So games are going to be 5 p.m. Eastern time, 7, 9, whatever. Then that's with them coming in as reigning gold medalists. If they do well, they're then a year later going to play in a home Olympics. Like they're going to play in the Rose Bowl or SoFi, whatever it is, to win a gold medal potentially back-to-back. Obviously, none of this is guaranteed, but I do think the team is really that good. So then 3 years after that, you could have, and I'm talking about players where they're right now 22, 23, 24 that are in the national team, could be coming out of 3 championships all in prime time every time they played to a home World Cup with Alyssa Thompson, Trinity Rodman, Emma Sears, Lily Johannes, Naomi Girma. Like all these players are going to be entering or in their primes when this happens.
Wow.
It could, all of the whole like rocket ship, this is how it's going to change the sport, blah, blah, blah. I really think it could. I think they are the biggest women's sports team on the planet. And I think this is stratosphere stuff for a lot of players that will change their lives, but also change the way the sport is consumed and understood and like engaged with.
Yeah, amazing. Oh man, you're getting me hyped.
I got a little goosebumps already.
Seriously, dang. Let's go, man. We got a lot to look forward to. Let's go. Okay, so last week you shared your favorite World Cup moment, one of your favorite World Cup.
Yeah, one of many.
I was going to say,
don't worry, we've got every week to do this.
Take your pick. So this week it's my turn.
Yes.
To share. And mine has nothing to do with anything that was actually being played on a soccer field. I mean, it technically was a soccer field, but yeah. So I had the glorious task of rewatching the World Cup opening ceremony from 1994, the last time the United States hosted the World Cup, which took place at Soldier Field in Chicago, a place I'm very, very familiar with. There's so much to say and unpack about this entire ceremony because it, number one, first and foremost, it is so gloriously 90s. Like if you wanted to explain to like a Gen Zer, like what life was like in sort of the 90s, I would show them this like 30-minute YouTube video that I watched.
So you found the full thing?
Oh yeah, I found it. And just kind of and play it for them and just be like, set aside 30 minutes, watch this, and this will give you a very, very clear indication of what things were like culturally, musically, fashion-wise. I mean, the whole like it's just incredible. So the 1994 World Cup had Oprah as the MC. Oprah Winfrey. So she, at the time, obviously, like had like
so
the
soccer
biggest,
had already made it.
Soccer definitely already made it. So she is the MC. So Oprah at the time had the #1 talk show in the country, and they filmed it at Harpo Studios in Chicago. So she was very much associated with Chicago. So Oprah was the MC. Bill Clinton, who was the president of the United States, was there. Complete, like, no security around him, just like standing at a podium. I was like, what are we watching right now? It is crazy. So right away, you're like, okay, like, here we go. But it turned into kind of just a completely calamitous affair, guys. Because, okay, so Oprah's the MC. She introduces Diana Ross, who is going to be performed with Grammy winner, this, Diana Ross can do no wrong. Right after she introduces Diana Ross, Oprah takes a step back and falls through like a hole in the stage. So this happens first, okay? So Oprah essentially falls off a stage, okay? Like no one really talks about this.
Fell off a stage on international TV?
Yes. Just whoop! Like, and I don't think it was that far, thankfully. Oprah was not hurt, but that happened. So then Diana Ross comes out, and she's singing the "I'm Coming Out."
Nice.
Da, 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 and it's, she looks amazing, by the way. It's so funny. She's wearing this like red power suit.
Yeah, because everything's a chunky suit because it's the 90s.
But it's like completely back in style. Like I was like, I would literally wear this. In fact, I think I like wore this like 2 months ago. Like it's just, it's so crazy how things come back around.
Keep your clothes.
So part of the whole thing is that part of the show is that while she's singing, she runs up and she's going to kick a penalty. Okay. And she runs up and it's like all very theatrical. And she's like, I'm juking and doing the whole thing. And she runs up and like the idea is that she hits the ball into the net and then the net splits apart. And then she like runs up triumphantly on stage. This woman sends the ball so completely far to the left. Like it's the worst miss ever. But the goal still
collapses because I assume it was predetermined.
So then she like runs up the stage and keeps going as if nothing ever happened. But the guy, it was an English guy. I don't know who it was who was doing like the kind of commentary, and he goes, "Calamitous."
That's amazing. What a miss.
So Oprah falls. Diana Ross misses the penalty kick. What else happened? Okay, Richard Marx came out and sang the national anthem, which again, so he's a Chicago guy. I don't remember this, but like I must have in my memory somehow put it in the back of my head. But he does a great rendition of the national anthem, but again, very 90s. Then John Cicada. Do you remember John Cicada?
Zero.
So he had some like bangers in the 90s. I think he's actually from Miami. But he comes out to perform. He's supposed to get like lifted up on like some hydraulic lift and it gets stuck.
Amazing.
So it's just his head like peeking out from the stage and like you can see the dancers are like, do we keep going? Like what's going on? And but God bless it, he's still like singing the song. So there are so many things that like went wrong in this entire opening ceremony. Like,
do we think they practiced it? They must have practiced it.
They had to have, but like it just all went wrong. And then eventually it took him like basically almost the entire song to like get up off this hydraulic lift and actually performing on the stage. So that was wild. And then Daryl Hall of Hall & Oates comes out and sings with a gospel choir. Because
classic.
Why not?
Classic.
And then the big like grand finale, they created a giant World Cup trophy, but like out of humans. So humans were like stacked up against each other, and then there was this like giant ball. I mean, it's wild. It's absolutely wild. And I remember watching this as a kid and being like, wow, but like a lot of it went over my head.
Yeah.
But then like as an adult, when you watch it back and you're like, this was such a disaster, but like in such a gloriously awesome, authentic 90s kind of way, like it should be celebrated. And I would encourage everybody to just like go to YouTube, put in 94 World Cup opening ceremony and enjoy yourself, because we'll never see anything like it. Like it was out of control. But just the amount of things that like went wrong.
Yeah. Where you're like, if they didn't go wrong, it's still probably not the best show anyone's ever seen. But you add in the fact that someone can't get, people are falling off stages.
Falling
people
off
can't get
stages.
Up. I was looking around while you were talking.
Missing wide open penalties.
I was curious if Diana Ross had ever given a quote about it. And I think people paid attention so little that no one ever thought to ask her about the PK miss.
We should get Diana Ross on.
That sounds like a good guest for us.
Doesn't that sound like it feels like a perfect Kickback Committee episode?
Yeah.
Like, do you remember? Did you ever watch on VH1? They used to have the Behind the Music show. It was like, it was so good.
Sorry, something's happening right now in my experience, which is that Diana Ross's son is married to Ashley Simpson.
Evan, you didn't know this?
This is all happening for me at the same time.
Evan
This
Ross.
is all going on.
Yeah.
I did not know this.
They have children. Yes.
What?
Oh yeah.
And Tracy Ellis Ross is her
daughter. Her
yeah,
stepdaughter.
who's awesome.
Is that her stepdaughter or her daughter? I know it's her daughter. I think that is her
Yes.
daughter. But I think her and Evan, there's different baby daddies, perhaps.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, this is wild. This is one of those things where it's like the Diana Ross PK miss I know of from stories. I did not watch any of this live. And I like know of it in the culture. I don't think I knew a single other thing about this ceremony. And I would have guessed that would have been the only wild thing that
Oprah
happened
fell
in
off
it.
a stage.
Yeah, no, that feels like a big deal as well.
It's too good. Truly. Like, put it on like at night. Just it's wildly entertaining. I would encourage everyone.
Well, my assumption is next year, 2026, we'll have 3 opening ceremonies, and then in 2030 we'll have 6 because there'll be 6 different countries. So it will really get you primed as you prep for those things.
More opportunities for things to go wrong.
Yeah.
More calamities.
Did you watch the Paris opening ceremonies?
I did. I'm sure I did.
But it doesn't matter to you. Yeah. We love an opening ceremony, and because I like big events, I get excited. They're all bad.
Yeah.
There were things about the Paris one I thought were cool. There were things that made no sense. And then the big thing that upset me, opening and closing ceremony, was all of the music was not from France. So it was either singers who are not from France or singing Frank Sinatra. And I'm like, come on, have your own thing. But they had like Louis Vuitton going on in the opening ceremony. There was Let Them Eat Cake, whatever her name is. I'm literally listening to a podcast about her and her people, like her sibling, and I could not remember her name. So they had like all that stuff going on. But opening, this is one of the things when you were talking about 2031, I feel like there had been a way about these things, right? We knew, and I said this when we did World Cup qualifying, there's a time when it starts, there's a draw that we know about, there's an opening ceremony we all make fun of that we tune in for, there's a mascot, like all these things were like the way these things go, which trigger you, like, oh, this is when this is happening, now I'm excited, now I'm not, all that stuff. And now as it changes every single time, more teams, more countries, all this stuff, you lose a little bit of that. And I think by the 3rd opening ceremony in 2026, we'll start to feel it a little bit at some point.
I agree. But long live 94.
Live 94.
It will go down in infamy as one of the most chaotic opening ceremonies ever in the history of sporting events. Wild times. Goss, let's get into a couple of the things that we're following this week, things that we enjoyed. And do you remember, this was like maybe even a couple months ago, I told you about the Swedish team, this tiny little fishing village, Mjällby.
Yeah.
Who were on top of the table. Guess what? They won the league.
No
they did
way.
The damn thing. They did. They won the league by like a significant amount with, I think they were like clear 11 points with 3 matches left in the season, but they beat Mjällby beat Gothenburg over the weekend, and they secured their first ever Allsvenskan title. And I just want to remind people that Mjällby is a teeny tiny little fishing village on the south coast of Sweden, and it's like a population of less than 1,400 people. And this team, and there's a really great article in The Guardian about it with some pictures of the supporters like celebrating. It's so great. Like it's just like one of these like amazing feel good stories because it's so very unlikely. But I was so stoked. I've been kind of like following them a little bit loosely, just seeing if
just
they can
keeping a
keep
finger on the pulse.
One loss on the season.
One loss is insane. I'm looking at it now. That is so wild. That it's like. And Bodo Glimt have obviously become a giant in Norway, and they are also the most northern city to win, small town. So it's cool because I think we all feel like, oh, it's dying. The possibility of these things are dying. It's all about the money, centralized. And that is amazing that it was like when you told us about it, it was like, cool, they're on a hot streak, and it's the right time of the year. They lost one game the whole season. Yeah.
One game. So I need to find a Mjällby jersey at some point. I'm like an honorary fan. Don't tell Charlie Davies because he's a big Hammarby guy.
Yeah.
And he won't be pleased with me. But I love it. I just love stories like that. I think it's very cool. Also,
next episode we'll record in Mjällby.
Yeah. It looks awesome.
Did
I show you the pictures of their? It's like, I mean, it's right on the coast, like right on the water. It's idyllic.
So cool.
It's really awesome. And on a personal level, I know it's taken me this entire show to bring up One Knox, but I just want to mention that One Knox can clinch the league next weekend. It is entirely if they a win or a draw, depending on some other results, will secure the Players' Shield, the USL League One Players' Shield for One Knox. So they're playing Greenville Triumph, who are out of the playoffs. They don't really have much to play for, so we'll see. They've been One Knox have been very good at home, but they had a very big win at the weekend against Texoma, and they are in pole position. So those are my big storylines that I'm excited about.
Those are the two best storylines ever. Basically. I don't have anything to add because those are awesome. Yeah.
Nothing to add.
No.
In that case, we'll transition over to our 50 States of Soccer tour, which is taking us to the state of Pennsylvania this week. So we've put out, we want you guys to hit us up on the socials. I think we've put up some posts on Instagram and on Blue Sky, just asking, all the usual questions. Best bar, best youth team, rival state, five-a-side, all the things.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of, there's some good talented players.
It is, yeah. It's one of the ones that's going to be really hard to whittle down to 5 rather than to push up to 5. On that side, I think a lot of great soccer bars. And then we're going to have Megan Klingenberg on our NWSL show tomorrow.
Amazing.
Who is one of my favorites and is going to be on the 5 side. Grew up in Pittsburgh. So it'll be interesting because there is a real break between the two sides of the state.
Pennsylvania is a big state.
I think it takes about 7 hours to drive from the East Coast or East Side to the West Side. I've been through Pittsburgh a couple times. I haven't spent a ton of time there, and obviously Philly is one of my favorite cities. I always have a great time in Philly. I think Philly people are the best, and I always am looking for excuses to go. And everyone else is like, really? And I'm like, elite city. We have this debate every time I'm out late with a few friends. This one debate topic comes up, which is like, what are the tier 1 U.S. cities? What are tier 2? What are tier 3? We go through it. And I put Philly tier 1, and people yell at me all the time about it. And I stand strong on the line. So shout out to Philly
Stick to your
for that one.
Do you know what? Everyone I know from Philly, like I really, really like and respect. Like it's just like, and they're very, very passionate about where they're from. And I love that.
And we could be there for MLS Cup as the Philadelphia Union, our Supporter Shield winners. So they have the right to host if they win all the way through into the playoffs, which would be awesome to see. I've been there for a couple U.S. Open Cup finals, a couple conference finals. You know, it's not the flashiest new stadium, but it's right by the city. And the fans, as you said, are a unique breed. And I love being around Philly fans when they're locked in and everything.
Shouts on the Sons of Ben.
Yeah. On the player side, Ben Olsen from Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Jim Curtin from Pennsylvania. Megan Klingenberg. Abby Dahlkemper from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Zach Steffen as well. And played in Pittsburgh. was in the Philly Academy from PA. So a lot of really good options. And then
I feel
now
like we're missing a really big, obvious one.
Oh, Christian Pulisic. Yeah, thank you.
Arguably our...
He is written down on the list. I just forgot.
Thank goodness.
Moment. Yeah. So it's a pretty good one. There's a lot of talent, and now the Philly Union are producing a lot of players. So there's a lot of the Sullivan brothers.
Yes.
Obviously Quinn now, Kevin maybe in the future.
Aronson brothers?
Yeah, Southern Jersey.
Are they? Oh, they're Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay. I just always assume
That part is hard. Like
that's tough.
They're all Eagle fans. They go up by the shore, whatever phrase they use, down the shore. Medford, New Jersey.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I apologize to all the New Jersey folks.
But send us bars. We don't know bars. Send us clubs. PA Classics, famous one. I think I don't know where Delco is technically located. We used to play Pennsylvania teams as a kid, so send us that stuff. And then rival state. I assume it's New York, but I could be wrong. Maybe.
I feel like that could be regional though too. I feel like somebody in
like Pittsburgh would consider it
or
Ohio.
Western Pennsylvania would probably say Ohio, and then So
we're talking AFC North country. This is real sports fans.
Real sports.
Yeah.
Exactly. Guys, let us know, and we will chat more about it at our happy hour on Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel. All right, guys. Great British Bake Off recap time. Merengue week. How do you feel about meringues?
Disgusted.
I'm not a fan either.
And I love that Prue said it. She said, I think that this type of meringue is disgusting. And it's like, I think she knows that most meringues are disgusting. And they did a full episode about it.
They did. They did a full episode. And do you know what I loved about Prue this week? Like, she couldn't even hide her disdain. I feel like they, typically, even if they eat something that they're not really loving, they're sort of muted in their reactions. Prue straight up wanted to spit it out of her mouth. Like, she was like almost gagged, and I was like, it is so relatable, and I loved every second of it.
I feel like this episode is one of the loosest episodes in a while of like interaction between judges and contestants, and like everyone kind of felt like they were being a little bit silly, which I liked. I didn't mind it.
I didn't either. Yeah, it was kind of like a
like
fun...
Paul gave the fake left-handed handshake.
I was gonna ask you about that.
I did not like that.
Do we think it was does that count as a real handshake? So here's the context behind it. Jasmine, it was her signature bake. They had to make these little meringue tarts, and Jasmine, who is just kicking ass on this thing, like she is absolutely the front runner. Hers was basically flawless. Paul, he like goes in with his left hand, or did he go in with his right hand first?
Well, he said when they do the thing where they walk around and tell them what they're going to make, he said, no more handshakes for you. You've had too many, blah, blah, blah. I think that was why.
Okay.
So then I didn't know if he was doing it because he went with his right hand first, then he switched to his left hand, and then he did the like.
Did it count? So does it count as a handshake though?
I couldn't tell if he did it because he had said that and not because he meant it. So I don't know.
I was on the fence. It really bothered me. Like I was like, well,
but she's like Casey Current. Like she's in a different league right now.
100%.
And everyone else is doing a good job competing against each other, but she is in a different stratosphere.
She 100% is.
The only thing that I have said this, I hope they say is like, she does like passion fruit and custard. Like it's not outside the box. She perfects what's good, but she's not as creative as some of the others. And
Agreed.
I think she should have to like push herself.
The judges should challenge her a little bit more.
That's what I'm looking for.
I think. But good on Toby, who was this week's star baker. I was very happy for him.
Well deserved.
I feel like he's been kind of like knocking at that door.
And he has tried stuff.
Yes. But it was Leslie's time to go. Our sweet Leslie. Do you know what I love though? She knew it. Like she was just like, I saw this coming. I'm just not as good as everyone else that's here. So.
But one of the great moments, which is a classic Great British Bake Off, if you've never watched the show, and now we're trying to get you to watch the show, the best part of the show is that they are all really nice to each other. So it's not this like cutthroat reality TV show style. Like very often when someone's rushing at the end, other people will come over if they have time and help them. Tom came over to Leslie because she was struggling. She couldn't get her meringue to set. And he goes, what were the measurements that you put in?
Oh.
And she had put the opposite sugar and I don't know the other thing that goes in.
Sugar and egg white. She got the two confused.
Yeah, she had her weights opposite on the
Yeah.
two of them. And he like came over, kind of had an idea. And like, this is a competition, right? He doesn't have to do that. And that was and he was struggling.
Yes.
He had a really bad week up until that point, and he was on the verge of going home potentially. So it was like, this was his kind of out, and he was being a good person, which is why Great British Bake Off is the best show.
The best. The best. I have no idea what's coming next week, but I cannot wait. I'm already excited to talk about it with you, David Goss. All right, well, before we say goodbye, we are very excited to welcome in one of our favorites, one of our essential team members, our producer, Douglas, who is not only one of the most talented and smartest and kindest individuals I have ever come across, he also happens to be one of the most passionate DC fans that you will ever find. We're talking DC United. I mean, it's been rough for him, obviously, but he is a huge supporter of all things DC, and he is a big part of the Rose Room Collective, and they have done something really cool with a kit collaboration. So Douglas is here. Welcome to the committee, and he is going to tell us all about it. Douglas, is that the kit hanging up behind you?
Yes, over my shoulder right here. This is the Black Sheep kit, a supporter group that I helped co-found a few years ago, Rose Room Collective. We founded ourselves on the basis of supporting non-white fans of DC United, the Spirit, locally. For various reasons, we thought that was a supporter group that needed to get founded, and over the years we've made some merchandise, but the coolest one I think we've made is this jersey right here that was made in collaboration with Icarus FC, the Philadelphia-based jersey supplier, and it's also a collaboration with the Black Women's Player Collective.
We love that because
That is
Brianna
rad.
Pinto is a part of that group and has been on to talk about it. So what was the inspiration here? Like who's designing? How does this work?
The design all came from one of my best friends and the co-founder of the crew, Aaron Bland. He had the vision for this jersey from the leap, and he looked at, so people are wondering, what does CGT mean? It's cause good trouble. And that's
John Lewis.
John Lewis. Yep, exactly.
yeah.
That's his entire thing. The entire idea with the black sheep is the person that stands out, the person that rises from everything else, the group that causes the trouble out there, the good trouble, as you can get the idea. That was the entire basis for the jersey and the creative inspiration for it. And to that point, we also thought we wanted to get some local black photographers involved. So I'm going to show some screenshots in a moment.
Okay.
These are some of the glamour photos we got with a photographer named Jared Soares. Brilliant man. We modeled some of these photos together. This is one of my friends, Rashi, also a local supporter of these clubs around here.
Great.
She came in straight from rugby practice.
Nice.
And she had those shoes ready. So I was like, wait, we need to incorporate those. Let's go.
That's awesome.
Hey!
I did a little bit myself.
Who's
And,
a model?
I was like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. Let's
Have
go
you
for
ever
it.
modeled before?
Not like this. I've done a little bit, but this is probably the nicest I've ever done. I was like, oh my God, okay.
You look great, my friend. You're smizing,
Thanks.
which is, smiling with your eyes. That's
Yeah.
essential in modeling. So I've been told.
Jared, the guy behind the camera here, he was so cool to work with. He's brilliant. And I should mention the guy to my right here. That's Aaron Bland. That's the guy that helped co-found Rose Room Collective, and he designed the jersey. That's him right there. And some people may recognize her. This is Gabby Vincent, the former player for the Washington Spirit and Kansas City and a few other NWSL clubs. We brought her on board. She was like, hey, do you want to do this? She was immediately game to say, hey, yeah, let's go. She has an amazing expression here. There were a bunch of photos here, but I loved Gabby in this moment, and I thought,
This is
hey, this is
great.
amazing.
So if people want to get their hands on this, what do they do?
So all you got to do is there's a link in Icarus FC's website, which I will provide on the bio of this episode when it goes on YouTube and the podcast machines, wherever you listen to. The link will be provided in the show description.
Amazing.
I will
Take
go ahead
all
and
my money.
Yes.
It's so good. It's such a good kit, though.
Yeah. First of all, black and white, classic.
Classic.
And the sheep are bordering on cartoonish, adorable, but also the black. You can see the one black sheep, and that is an awesome message, and I think that is so cool.
I love it. I love it.
Even-
Douglas.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing all of that with us. And again, if you guys want to get your hands on that awesome jersey, the link for it will be in the bio of this episode. But that is going to do it for this episode of Kickback Committee. Make sure you check out all the latest episodes of Soccer Wise. Who's going to be on? Megan Klingenberg this week, David Goss?
And Kristen Hamilton. The Kansas City Current, who is one of 4 players to ever win 4 shields in their NWSL career. She's done it across 3 different teams, and she has announced her retirement. So this will be her last year. She's got 4 shields and 2 cups, but if Casey wins the whole thing, it'd be 4 and 3, which is pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive. Amazing. We also have our happy hour coming up this Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletters, both the World Cup and the Kickback Minutes, to keep you up to date on all things soccer in North America. But for now, that's it for us. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time.